one of my gifts that I've had since I was a little girl growing up in Mississippi, being raised on a tiny little acre farm with my grandmother, I knew how to pay attention. I was a great observer of life. And I grew up believing that I was indeed for sure God's child. It's because every Sunday I sat in our little church down the road, a dirt road from where my grandmother lived, no running water, no electricity, no vision of hope or possibility. And I would listen to the preacher preach about the Lord thy God is a loving God, and sometimes he would say the Lord thy God is a jealous God. But most important, I heard him say, you are God's child, and through God, all things are possible. So my vision, my perception, my understanding of what it means to be a universal citizen has grown as I came to understand Acts 17:28, my favorite Bible verse that says, in God I move and breathe and have my being. Having that belief system that something greater than me was in charge of my destiny, of my fate, that it wasn't just me alone having to survive for myself, is the rock that has sustained me. When you look at where I've come from, a little town, apartheid town, in Kosciuszko, Mississippi in 1954, where there was no vision or hope for you. My grandmother's greatest desire for me, as she had been a maid and her mother before her had been a maid, her greatest desire was that I would grow up one day and be able to do the same.
Would you like to work for me? Be my maid?
Hell no.
What did you say?
Hell no.
My ability to step into literally the flow and grace that I call God is what has gotten me here. And I consistently mind that, because having a spiritual life isn't something that you can attain because you already are a spiritual life. There is no one else in creation like you. There's nobody like you. And what you've come to do and what you have to offer is like no other. No one brings the level of uniqueness and authenticity that you can bring. Nobody does it like you. And understanding that what you have to offer, what you've come to give to the planet, is your gift, your offering in a way that nobody else can, and how much that matters. It matters to you, it matters to the people that you love, and it matters to our planet that you are here. It's a miracle that we get to be here. And when I think of my life and the fact that nobody really kind of wanted me in the beginning, my father had sex with my mother one time. Can you imagine? That was a powerful seed. He wasn't in love with her. He said she was wearing a poodle skirt and he wanted to know what was up under there. And she showed him by an oak tree. And to think that something as random as my mother's poodle skirt, to think that something as random as that would create a little Negro child in Mississippi who grew up and had and has had and continues to have the opportunities that I've had, that is, I can assure, that is nothing but grace. It's grace. It's grace because I was allowed to step into the flow of it and let it carry me to this moment. And I'm not telling you what to believe or who to believe or what to call it, but there is no full life, no fulfilled, meaningful, sustainably joyful life without a connection to the Spirit. I haven't seen it happen. I believe that prayer conscious kindness, empathy, consistent compassion, gratitude, all spiritual practices. You must have a spiritual practice. What is yours? About the late 80s, someone introduced the idea of a gratitude journal to me. I guarantee if you did it for a week, you would see a difference. Every day, 5 things I write down that I am grateful for, or that brought me joy, or opened my heart space. There comes a time in everybody's life when you've actually done all that you can do and you really want something so badly, but it still isn't coming forward for you in a way that you feel that it should. I know that what is for you will come to you. I know that for sure. And I know that many times when it appears that something is happening to you, it is always, always happening for you. The 3 things that I want to leave with you will carry you if you let them. First and foremost, knowing who you are. Knowing who you are. Being able to answer this question, who am I? And what do I want? I'm not asking for the roles that you play. I'm asking the bigger question of who am I? Who am I really? My answer is I am God's child. I am that which is born of all that is. A spiritual being having a human experience, trailing the breath of the angels, and understanding that because I am connected to the source of all that is possible for me. That's who I am. And what do I want? I don't want to just be successful in the world. The answer to that question for me is I want to fulfill the highest, truest expression of myself as a human being. I want to fulfill the promise that the Creator dreamed when He dreamed the cells that made up me. What do I want? You must have some kind of vision for your life. Even if you don't know the plan, you have to have a direction in which you choose to go. I never was the kind of woman who liked to get in a car and just go for a ride. I had a boyfriend who would say, let's just go for a ride. I want to know, where are we going? Do we have a destination? Is there a plan? Or are we just riding? What I've learned is that's a great metaphor for life. You want to be in the driver's seat of your own life, because if you're not, life will drive you. So, knowing who you really are in this space and time that we embody. Number 2, you must find a way to serve.
Inspiring habits.
Martin Luther King said that not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. Now, we live in a world where everybody wants to be famous, and where we admire people for just being famous. We think being known brings us value. The truth is, all of that will fade in time. In 3 years, you won't be able to name the housewives of Atlanta. Service and significance. Service and the significance that you bring to your service is that which is lasting. Whatever your occupation or job or talent or gift is, what they have in common is service, using the spoken word in service to community and the world. If you look at all the most successful people in the world, whether they know it or not, they have that paradigm of service. You want to be able to own yourself and make your own decisions. You never want to be in a position where something is that important to you to do and you can't do it because the boss says you can't. When you shift the paradigm of whatever it is you choose to do to service and you bring significance to that, success will, I promise you, follow you. Service and significance equals success. That's number 2. Number 3, it's so simple but so hard to do. Always do the right thing. Always. Be excellent. People notice. Think of how you notice. You go to Taco Bell, somebody gives you an extra napkin and some sauce. You notice. You want to go back to that person. Because even at Taco Bell, excellence shows itself. Let excellence be your brand. Everybody talks about building a brand. I never even knew what that was. When people say, you're a brand, I would say, no, I'm just Oprah. What I recognize now is that my choice to, in every way, in every example, in every experience, to do the right thing and the excellent thing is what has created the brand. And what I know is that when you are excellent, you become unforgettable. People remember you. You stand out, regardless of what it is. And that is what we all want. We want to be unforgettable and not forgettable. So doing the right thing, even when nobody knows you're doing the right thing, will always bring the right thing to you. I promise you that. Why? Because the third law of motion is always at work. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That is so true in all of our lives. So you don't have to worry about revenge or getting back at somebody, making sure they pay. You just have to do the right thing, and the right thing will follow you even when people don't support it. I remember many times on my show. There are many shows y'all never saw. And the reason you didn't see them is because I got the last vote. And I remember 2010, I had done this interview with a woman who turns out she was a Sunday school teacher by day and a sex addict at night. And during the process of the interview, I said, why are you doing this? I said, do you have children? She says, yes, I have a 10-year-old son. I knew right then, this is never gonna see the light of day. So we got off the air and I said to the lady, we are not going to air that show. My producer said, why? I said, because her son will never get over it. Her son will never get over it. And it's not worth a rating point to me. Not worth a rating point to me to know that there's a 10-year-old boy who's destroyed because his mother went on the Oprah Winfrey Show and told all her business. You do the right thing, even when other people think it may not be. You always know it's the right thing, when in the end, there is peace. You are rewarded by peace in knowing that you did the right thing. All of you leaving here have the potential for enormous success. There's a price that comes with that. People don't always like you, and they're not always happy for you. And if you surround yourself with people who are not accustomed to your success, they become fearful, they become scared, because you are reflecting back something to them that they don't recognize. That only happens when you are around people who do not mean and want and aspire to the best for you. People who want the best for you want you to be your best. So my greatest advice to you is to surround yourself with people who are going to fill your cup until your cup runneth over. Once your cup runneth over, you cannot spend your life with your gallon-size offerings, offering them to pint-sized people. You have got to surround yourself with gallon-sized people who can hang in the same company with you, so that you're not offering your gallons to those little pints out there. And what I know for sure is that the biggest choices begin and end with you, your internal big questions. Who do I want to be in the world? My relationship to source energy, to all that is God. I'm not talking about what you believe in God. I'm talking about your experience of that which is all life, which is divine and universal. I'm talking about the big deal. Being connected and aligned with that. When you are tuned in and charged into that, whenever you feel empty, you go inside yourself and you connect to the source, and you know that all things are possible. To know that, and to choose to do the right thing in service and significance, I promise you, you will create a vessel of service for yourself first, because you have to honor yourself first. You have to give to yourself first, otherwise you have nothing to give away. You will create a vessel for yourself, for your family, your community, and the world. And those three things will not only lead you to a blessed life. I stand as a witness. My life is so blessed, I can't even take it in sometimes. It will lead you not just to a gifted life and a rewarding life that fills you up, but a sweet life. That's what you want. Even when the storms come, and they will, you'll know this too shall pass. This too shall pass. The storm is passing over, and you shall not be moved, because you know who you are. When you can do that, grace will follow you. The glory God has in store for you is unimaginable to you. You can't even imagine it. You can't even imagine it. Take your glory. It's waiting for you. And run with it. Thank you.